Noon stream. I'm Pugs Moran. I do this every Monday through Friday. Well, unless I have something else going on like yesterday. Do apologize that yesterday was a busy day. Monday through Friday, noon till whenever. What is this? What is this show? Well, here's what we do here. We like to give you everything that is anything about the day. First, we go through the history of what this day has meant. Then we talk about some of the people who were born on this day. And then we go through some of the deaths. That's how it is. And then after we've gone through those things, those things that have occurred previously on this day, then we jump right into all the things that are trending, the headlines, the current events, whatever it is that is shaping what this day is. We get to that at that point. We didn't do a Pugs and Parker show last night either. I apologize for that. There was stuff going on. We go, oh boy, do we have stuff going on. Maybe we'll have stuff to report soon. I don't know. Anyway, I'm in a good mood. Are you in a good mood? It's a beautiful day here in North Texas. What are we checking in at temperature-wise? Got my windows open, trying to get, whatever winter funk there is that's been going on. What are we looking at temperature? It's sunny. It's sunny as hell. Sunny is what? It says it's like only 52 degrees. Feels like it's a lot warmer than that. I'm sitting in the sun. Hold on. Let me do one last thing here, and then we'll get started. Hold on. I'm going to run through the show pretty quick today. Don't know that we're going to go a full 2 hours. Okay, busy weekend. Oh, however, I will be doing a show on Monday. Monday is, I guess, what, President's Day, Washington's birthday? But what is it? I don't even know. You guys know? You know, what is Monday? Monday's like something. Anyway, I will be doing a show on Monday. So just in case, there was any concern that we were going to take the day off. And I used the we as the royal we. It's, of course, myself and my schizophrenic co-host, schizophrenic me, who lives inside my head. But no, we'll be doing a show on Monday afternoon. I assume Monday evening as well. The Pillow Talk show. That airs every Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. All right, let's get into what today. Oh, here, before we do that, I need to, sorry. I know I seem a little bit, I got a lot going on today. Least of, I got to record another special podcast thing that I'm doing with somebody. I got to do that at some point today. Then I got to clean this whole house because I haven't, I had the COVID last week. And so I missed the last weekend with my kid because I had the COVID. And I haven't really cleaned. So I got to clean everything. Then I got to go grocery shopping. I still have to record. And then I got to get all the way up to, north suburbs. And I got to pick him up in Friday traffic rush hour. Oh, it's crazy. So let's get through this. I know. All I'm doing is wasting time. Let me see who we got in the chat room. Who's in the chat room? Let me say hi to some people. Let me give you all hi, Joel. Hi, Taronda. Hi, Al. Hi, Byron. Hi, Frank. Hi, Jen. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Byron again. Hi, Michael. Mama Beller's here. We got JBM in the house. We got Leslie Collins. We are number one with Jeff's, Byron's, and Leslie's. That's right. Number one. No one can compete with us. We have more Jeff's, Leslie's. We even got a couple of Byrons. Although there's like Byron. There's like Byron number one. And then there's the other Byron who comes in sometimes. But all right, let's talk about what today is. It is high noon for the 17th day of February, year of our Lord, 2023. February 17th, I'll have you know, is the 48th day of the year. 48 days! Oh my God, this year is just rolling on by. Before we know it, we'll be at 100 days. There are 317 days remaining until the end of the year. I'm going to, over the next couple of weeks, as this noon show, because, the name of the game is growth, right? And we're just not growing. I mean, we're consistent. We're consistently not growing, but we're not growing. So we got to do some things. I'm thinking making the show shorter, making it just a 1 hour thing, doing more with graphics, doing more with promoting specific time. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of things. And one of the things that I think I'm going to change is instead of just going through the history of the day, I'm just going to give you 3 or 4 of the most effed up things that happened in history. Because I'm going through this list today and I'm like, man, this is an effed up day in history. And I'm like, well, maybe that's the segment. Maybe it's effed up day in history. We're also going to kind of change the births. We like to run through, at this point, I compile the list of births based on, what do I have anything to say about that person? And they make it. There are people who I should probably mention in the births who don't get mentioned because I look at them and go, I got no take on that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to celebrate the people who were born specifically for something weird that they did. Call it the birth of weirdos or whatever, and it'll just be like, it won't be like, oh, it's Drew Barrymore's birth. You know what I mean? Unless I got like something, unless she did something weird that I get. So anyway, we're shaping the show. It's all coming together. Got to stay positive. All right, on this jacked up day in history, in 1600, on his way to be burned at the stake for heresy at Campo di Fiore in Rome, the philosopher Giordano Bruno has a wooden vice placed on his tongue and a stake driven through it to prevent him from speaking. I don't even know what this is. I just read this and I'm like, what kind of a world are we born of? People, I would so violent. Well, I guess the ability to commit, mass mayhem is easier than ever. But you can't tell me that the world today is more violent than it was when they were marching people through the streets to burn them at the stake and then driving spikes through their come on. They were crazy. I'm telling you, man, humanity is garbage. It's a lot of work to try and improve on what humanity is naturally wanting to do. Humanity is naturally wanting to just be an asshole. It's a lot of work to not be that. On this day in 1801, the United States presidential election, a tie in the Electoral College between Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr is resolved when Jefferson is elected president of the United States and Burr vice president by the United States House of Representatives. So that's a thing. So they just like tied, and then it went to Congress, and Congress was like, well, who do we like better? And they're like, that Burr guy's kind of an a-hole. Yeah, Jefferson's quiet, but he's got such nice hair, and he writes pretty notes. I guess that's how history is made. Bunch of dudes just decided for us. On this day in 1865, during the American Civil War, Columbia, South Carolina is burned to the ground as Confederate forces flee the advancing Union forces. On this day in 1970, okay, here's one from 1970. Jeffrey R. McDonald, United States Army captain, is charged with the murder of his pregnant wife and 2 daughters. Now, do you remember, I only mention this because, I'm a child of the 70s. I am a Gen Xer, and I was raised to appreciate the made-for-TV miniseries. Oh, the made-for-TV miniseries. We look forward to those things. You mean we're going to get 4 nights in a row of the same story? Oh, how great. And then it'll be over. Do you guys remember Fatal Vision? Fatal Vision was I believe it was an NBC miniseries. And it was about this case. It was about the Jeffrey McDonald case, the Army captain who killed his wife. And the reason I remember it is because it was the very first time that I ever laid eyes on Gary Cole. Gary Cole, ladies and gentlemen. Gary Cole, who is one of my just all-time favorite that guy actors. He's just, if Gary Cole is in something, I am on the edge of my seat. There is a smirk creeping across my face because I know something funny or something weird is going to. Gary Cole is, I guess he's most famously Mike Brady from the Brady Bunch movies. He played Mike Brady. He's also the guy from Office Space. Yeah, I'm going to need you to come in on Saturday. He's that guy. He's in a billion memes. Vice. Oh, he is so funny as Kent on Vice. Vice. The Julia Louis-Dreyfus HBO show. Oh my God. So that's it. You see what I did there? I really just wanted to talk about Gary Cole and how much I like Gary Cole. And I used the anniversary of Jeffrey McDonald, the Army captain who killed his family, as a means to do that. Boy, that seems dark now that I think about it. Anyway, Jeffrey McDonald. Gary Cole played him in a movie in like 1988 or something. On this day in 2011, the Arab Spring in Libya begins. These first large-scale protests against Muammar Gaddafi's regime. How'd that work out? I'll tell you how that worked out. That worked out with that bitch Gaddafi cowering like a rat in a sewer pipe while people poked sharp sticks at him. That's how he went down. Oh, yeah. I've had to consider this. I mean, aside from all like the horrible, terrible, he's one of the worst people that ever lived and he tortured other people and he's just a monster of a human. Besides all of that, the way Gaddafi lived for like a good 30, maybe 40 years of his life, golden toilets, harems, that kind of thing. Just, would it be worth being poked to death with sticks and being sodomized by a bayonet. Would it be worth like that one moment, like that? Because that was just probably took place over the course. I mean, his body went into shock, I'm sure, like within 10 minutes of his beating. So, it's like 10 minutes. Would you take the 40 years of being like, that guy with his golden toilets and his harems? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I know in the moment you'd be regretting it while they're sodomizing you with a rifle, but you might go like, yeah, but remember that night in Paris in '92 with that Swedish bikini team? You know what I mean? I mean, there might be some good times. And again, we're not, for the sake of this conversation, even considering that he was a demonic madman. We're not. We're just saying, what if he was a good dude? What if he was a good dude and then they just, rose up against him anyway? Would the lifestyle he was afforded for all those years as Muammar Gaddafi, would that balance out with the sodomization of a bayonet? I don't know. I don't think so. I think maybe actually. Let's see. Let's do some birthdays. On this day, born in 1843. That's right. We're going all the way back. Aaron Montgomery Ward, American businessman, founder of Montgomery Ward Store, a store that to this day I still refer to as Monkey Ward's because I don't know. I guess the adults in my life when I was little, they said Montgomery too quickly, and I just always called it Monkey Ward's, and I still do. Although, is it still a thing? Is Montgomery Ward still a thing? I mean, it was a big thing in Chicago because it was a Chicago-based store, and I know it was, national and all that, but did they hang on in my neck of the woods a lot longer than everywhere else? Because I can't tell you the last time I saw Montgomery Ward's. Anyway, born on this day in 1931, Buddy Ryan, American football coach. He's got a couple of kids who went into football coaching. Buddy Ryan, the 46 defense. The 46 defense. For a good 10 years in the NFL, there was no, well, there kind of was. There was no real consistent answer for that defense that Buddy Ryan created. 8 men in the box. You had 6 down linemen rushing. It was all about pressure. Bring that pressure. If you were a pocket quarterback in the late 80s, early 90s, yeah, you had no answer for the 46 defense. Now, once they started, working in like RPOs and mobile quarterbacks and stuff like that, it became different. And that's why the 46 defense isn't played anymore. But, the thing that really everybody, when you think about the 46 defense, you think of like, the sacks and, the wall of defenders coming all the time on that front line. And they get all the credit. But the true credit for the 46 defense is almost completely dependent on your 3 safeties. And that's what they are. They really are safeties because you're not really playing corners in this system. You have to have 3 super athletic guys back there who can react just in case that quarterback eludes that 6-man rush. Yeah, anyway, 46 defense. It'll come back. Yeah, someday it'll come back. They keep trying to make these running quarterbacks pocket passers. It'll come back. I promise you that. Oh, by the way, fun fact, 46 defenses, typically these defenses or offensive schemes that you hear, like the 4-3 or whatever, these are all named after the amount of personnel and where they're placed, not the 46 defense. 46 defense is named after Doug Plank, middle linebacker or strong safety for the Chicago Bears back in the late 70s. Buddy Ryan designed the 46 defense over a safety like a Doug Plank. So that's why he called it the 46 defense. Born on this day, another football legend, Jim Brown, American football player and actor. Jim Brown, born on this day in 1936. Yeah. In the conversation, greatest running back of all time. I never saw him play before my time, but I've seen the films. Didn't look like people could tackle him. If you think Derrick Henry sometimes looks difficult to tackle, you should watch some Jim Brown highlights. Nobody could tackle that guy. That guy just ran through everybody. Born on this day in 1949, another football legend of sorts, Dennis Green, American football player and coach. He died in 2016, but he was born on this day. Dennis Green, I remember as a little kid, I dipped my foot. I was looking for I was forced to be a Notre Dame fan as a kid growing up because of my Irish Catholic heritage. But I was looking around, and Northwestern was the other school in Chicago, my hometown. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll become a fan of Northwestern football. I didn't know they sucked. Like I didn't know. I was like 9 or whatever, 10. And Dennis Green was the head coach, and I thought that was cool. I was like, okay, so he was like the first. Hey, look, as soon as I realized Northwestern sucked, I became full-time Notre Dame. But I'm just saying, I remember Dennis Green when he was the head coach of the Northwestern Wildcats. Then he went to Minnesota. Then he went to Arizona. And then he died. Poor guy. Lou Diamond Phillips, born on this day in 1962. La Bamba. I got no more. Born on this day in 1963, Larry the Cable, labia the vagina guy, Larry the Cable Guy, American comedian and voiceover actor. Boy, he turned a caller, a character. He was a caller to a radio show. He turned a simple caller. He was a caller and he's just doing a character. He turned that into like $100 million or whatever that guy's worth. Larry the Cable Guy. No hate from me, brother. Born on this day in 1963, Michael Jordan, American basketball player and actor, the greatest who's ever played the game. In anticipation of Michael's birthday, 60th birthday today, I watched last night on YouTube Michael Jordan's 50 greatest plays. I'll just leave it at this. He is the greatest basketball player who's ever played on the hard court. I'm sorry, I'd say. Don't give me the, well, he played, there wasn't anyone else doing offense like he was back then. Okay, yeah, there were other guys playing offensive basketball back then, but here's the thing about the era Michael Jordan played in, okay? You can tell me all you want about LeBron, and LeBron is wonderful. LeBron is great. And there is a conversation to be had about who's the greatest of all time. But let's talk about eras. Michael Jordan was scoring 60 points a game in an era when teams prided themselves on defense. And not just defense, ferocious defense. The Eastern Conference of the NBA, in the time that Michael Jordan called it his home, played a level of defense that the NBA hasn't seen in 2 decades. They just don't do it anymore. And it was cheap and it was dirty. I mean, he was running into buzzsaws. You forget, Michael Jordan's scorings are in comp with the league leaders of today, right? Okay, so that's good. Maybe there are more people today that are scoring at the level that Michael was, but Michael was playing against the Detroit Pistons. Michael was playing against the New York Knicks. And we're talking about the 1980s, 1990s. We're talking about guys that threw elbows. Jesus, man. It was a different era, and he was just as offensively prolific as the greats of today. And the greats of today do not face anything like the defense that those teams faced in the 90s. That's just a fact. Do I have anything else to say about Michael Jordan? No. Oh, also, he played defense. Holy shit. I mean, 2 ways, man. He's probably the best defender in the entire league. The whole time he was the best offensive player in the entire league. Born on this day in 1965, another Michael, not as respected. Michael Bay, ladies and gentlemen, American filmmaker Michael Bay. Okay, so he did the Bad Boys movies. Those are fun. Then everything else is like, I did Con Air, right? Con Air, that was fun. You know what it is? It's all the Transformers BS. I can't get into the Transformers. I'm sorry. Hey, Michael Bay. We're not going to waste that much time. Denise Richards, born on this day in 1971. Denise Richards. She's an all-timer. She is an all-timer for me and my Gen X way of looking at the world. Denise Richards, all-timer. Born on this day in 1972, Billy Joe Armstrong, American singer, songwriter, guitarist, actor, most famous as the leader of Green Day, Billy Joe Armstrong. Born on this day in 1972, umbilical cousins with Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day, the late Taylor Hawkins. Taylor Hawkins of the Foo Fighters would have turned, I don't know, what, 50? Hold on. Yeah, he'd have been 50 today. Yeah, all right. Happy 50th birthday, Taylor Hawkins. You blew it. You had it all. Born on this day in 1981, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, American actor, director, producer. He's the kid from Third Rock from the Sun who actually turned out to be a really good actor. Joseph Gordon. That doesn't happen a lot. You don't get a lot of these kids that become famous as teenagers. I mean, rarely are they even afforded the opportunity to do more adult dramatic roles. They're almost always, put in a position where they're having to milk off whatever character they developed on TV. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Maybe I should try and pronounce his name properly. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, not Joseph Gordon-Levitt. No, he's done some things. He's good. He's a good actor. Also celebrating a birthday today, Paris Hilton. Man, I'll tell you, Paris Hilton. Oh, don't at me. I'm up to here with the Kardashians. Although I do love Kim. I am up to here with the Kardashians. I long for the day when there was just one of them. It was just one of them. It was just one. It was just Paris. That's it. Yeah, she had a sister, Nikki, right? And early on, Nikki tried to be part of the whole, Paris Hilton thing. But then Nikki was like, I don't like this. And Nikki sort of disappeared forever, Nikki Hilton. And then we had Paris, and it was just Paris, and we hated it. We could direct all our ire towards one person. See, it's very confusing with the Kardashians. They're all over the place. It's like, is that the one I hate? It's like you don't know. Oh, which one is that now? See, they're all over. They're overwhelming. I long for the day when it was just Paris Hilton. We could just focus on her. Maybe we could get a little Lindsay Lohan sprinkled in. And then on the very big occasion, like a holiday, we'd get some Britney action. But really, it was just Paris. Paris was the one that we went, God, she's gorgeous. Oh my God, do I hate her? Like, that was her. Now we got all these Kardashians. Anyway, it's Paris Hilton's birthday. I saw her recently, and she just had a baby. She had a baby. She seems to be happily married with a baby. She seems to be cool now. Like, not cool, you know what I mean? Like, she seems like chilled out a little. She's not quite as everywhere all the time, which is nice. I have hopes for her. I have hopes for Paris Hilton. I think that, we might see her emerge in like 5 years and go, oh my God, well, look at that sophisticated, young lady. Yeah, or not even young. I don't think she's going to do the Madonna thing where she's constantly trying to be the 28-year-old club girl. I think Paris Hilton, she eliminated herself from the spotlight. She had her fun when she was a young girl, and now she's, I don't know, whatever. I mean, I'm not even like advocating for Paris Hilton. I'm just saying she hasn't embarrassed herself recently, and that's probably a good sign moving forward. Born on this day in 1991, Ed Sheeran, English singer-songwriter, famous ginger, guitarist, and producer. I don't. Ready for a hot take? And I know that he's not even new. Like, to me, I'm old. So Ed Sheeran is still new, but he's not new. He's been around forever. I don't know if he's got staying power. Like 30 years from now, are people going to go, oh, like, is he going to be like Elton John? Like 30 years from now, are people, I don't think so. And I'm not just, who else I don't think that Sam Harris guy is going to be around. I think Sam Harris is just like the new Boy George. And yeah, Boy George stayed famous in that we knew his name, but Boy George wasn't like a productive or important artist. And I think that's going to happen with Sam Harris too. Oh, you just hate all of those young. No, I don't. No, I think Jack Harlow's got something. I think Jack Harlow's a star. I think obviously Harry Styles ain't going anywhere. He's like the new Justin Timberlake. So don't tell me, schizophrenic me, that I just hate on them because they're young. No, I just either see something or I don't. And I don't really get Ed Sheeran. Sorry. It's like, I don't know. It's like all of his songs sound like they were written for a Springsteen class in junior college. They just seem like such lesser attempts at what Springsteen is able to do with his folky mythology and Americana and all that kind of stuff. And he's not even married. I don't even know. I don't even know. Ed Sheeran. What is he? Well, he's English. That's what he is. All right, let's get into some of the deaths. Some people who passed away on this day. Mindy McCready, the country singer, born in 1975, died in 2013. She had her issues. My friend was her bodyguard, and he wasn't my friend when he was her bodyguard. He was my friend when he was bodyguarding Natalie Maines of the Dixie Chicks, who is awesome, by the way, like a total cool chick. He used to say, he used to tell stories about Mindy McCready when he was bodyguarding her, and let's just say that she was a handful. She was a handful. If you were in charge of keeping her safe, that was a full-time job for you, because he was a handful. Died sadly on this day in 2013. Mindy McCready. Dead on this day in 2021, Rush Limbaugh, American talk show host and author, born in 1951. Rush Limbaugh died on this day in 2021. All right, let's get into some of the things that are trending. We're going to run through these as quick as possible, and then I am out of here, folks. I hope you don't hold that against me. But we will be doing a show on Monday. So even though it's President's Day, we'll still be giving you the stream with all the headlines and hot topics and current events and all that stuff. Memphis police are trending today. The Memphis police, those dudes who were involved in the Tyree Nichols situation. Well, I mean, look, I saw the video. Looked like a murder to me. It looked like a beatdown to me. 5 former Memphis police officers have been charged in the Tyree Nichols death. They plead not guilty. Not guilty. 5 former Memphis Police Department officers pled not guilty Friday at their arraignment on criminal charges connected to the January death of Tyree Nichols, whose brutal beating after a police traffic stop was seen on video. Do we know anything more about, there was that story that got a lot of heat in the days following the release of the video that said that one of the officers, his ex-wife, worked with Tyree Nichols, and that he possibly, I mean, why is that important? Well, it's important because it might show a motive, right? It might show that, he had an axe to grind with Tyree Nichols, and, it might even be good for the defense of the other cops, because it might show that this is not their standard operating procedure, and that this guy was, executing a personal vendetta against him, and he went crazy, and we didn't know what was going on, and so that might be a good defense for some of the, not for the dude in question though. For the dude in question, that's his. Anyway, that happened today. All 5 of them pled not guilty, like they didn't release the video. I'm crazy. El Paso is trending. The other night, there was a shooting in El Paso, Texas, at a mall. Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso. And for a period of time, it was bubbling over like, oh my God, here we go again. Pearl clutching, thoughts and prayers, and all that nonsense. We got another one of these situations. Now, I always talk about these situations and whether or not how I categorize them in my head. So I have the one where a guy walks in and gunplay erupts, and it's because somebody said something to somebody, and this is just a typical criminal who is just going to, carry a gun and use it if he feels that he's somehow been disrespected, that kind of bullshit. And then there's the other category, which is the guy that's like, I hate the world, and he just wants to slay as many grandmas, little kids, and whoever can catch a bullet from his little pea shooter. That's the mayhem guy, right? So those are the 2 categories. This El Paso shooting, very early on, I was like, okay, this is not mayhem guy. This is personal. And how did I determine that early on? Which is why we didn't cover it, which is why we didn't break in. And I'll explain why I make the decision not to break in and not to cover those kinds of things. One, it was reported very early on that it was kids. Okay, so whenever it's kids, I'm like, okay, teenagers, gangbangers. 2, and this sealed it for me. It occurred in the food court. There was a shooting in the food court. There's a shooting involving kids in the food court. That's not, the election was stolen, or Ali Ali Akbar, or whatever it is, whatever the motivation is for the crazy person. They come in all shapes and sizes these days. You can't really pin one motivation on them. But that's the random guy. So this one to me, just very early on, I was like, El Paso, even though, this is the crazy thing. This mall is located in the same parking lot as the Walmart in El Paso, where 23 people were killed a couple of years back by that idiot from Allen or Plano or wherever he was from. So that was weird. That was like, oh, copycat. But then in food court, teenagers, they ran away from the scene without just indiscriminately firing bullets at other people. Also, if it's a handgun, like they said it was a handgun pretty early on, handgun, food court, teenagers. Okay, so that's not the Las Vegas, Mandalay Bay shooter. That's a totally different thing. So now you might ask, well, why would you feel less interested in covering the one that is just street crime that boiled over into the public? Well, it's because that's just that. It's street crime. That doesn't really connect with me. That's, why it doesn't connect with me? Because it's been something that we've lived with forever. It's just an everyday thing. Yeah, there are bad people who do bad things. And in some way, I think that I can rationalize it in my head as being, well, I mean, I could randomly be shot in one of these situations, but because of the way I lead my life, I don't find myself at backyard barbecues hosted by gang leaders, right? I don't find myself in the food court hanging out with a bunch of, kids who are affiliated with gangs. So I can avoid that. So I can rationalize that like, okay, so it's not that bad. The other guy, the reason I find the other more troubling is because that person doesn't care. That's the guy who's just going to kill anybody. That's the guy who's just going to kill me while I'm walking through the parking lot to pick up my sub sandwich at Jersey Mike's, right? That guy freaks me out. So it's not to say that one life is more important than the other. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that one I just find more frightening, and I think one is more sends a bigger chill down society's back than the other. And that's not a justification. That's me pointing out that, maybe we ought to consider all lives the same and we shouldn't feel this way, but we do. Anyway, the story in El Paso is now coming to light. It was a fight in the food court between, they don't believe they're gang members, yet one of them pulled a gun and started shooting, but it's a bunch of teenagers. A shooting at a Texas mall that left one person dead and 3 others wounded began as a confrontation between 2 groups in the food court. This according to police on Thursday. The people involved in the fight Wednesday at Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso ranged in age from late teens to early 20s. Yeah. Well, what I'm going to solve street crime? I mean, we can't even solve we're not even interested in solving the random stuff. Now I got to get all twisted about, gang violence. I come from Chicago. Trust me, it's in my DNA. I'm used to it. I don't know, it's why I no longer hang out in front of currency exchanges. It's why me and the boys don't sing doo-wop on the street corner in front of the liquor store. Fetterman is trending. Senator Fetterman, that big old Shrek-looking guy from Pennsylvania. He's trending because he has admitted himself into Walter Reed Hospital for mental health work. He is a sufferer of depression, and he is. It's a monumental thing here because he is certainly not the first person in the United States Congress. He's not the first person in the United States executive branch, and he's not the first person to ever sit in the United States Supreme Court to suffer from depression. We know this. There have been numbers of biographies written by, it's quite common. But he is the first to be willing to take the slings and arrows for saying, yeah, you know what? I need to talk to some people about some stuff. I've been through a lot and I need to work through it. As someone who suffers from depression, I find it admirable, and I think that anything that moves the conversation forward is a good thing. Is he capable of being a senator, a functioning senator? Well, I don't know. And if people are criticizing him, you better not be the same people who were pushing Herschel Walker. Because come on. I don't know. I don't know the degree to which he suffers. I know that the way that I have it, I'm classified as highly functioning. There are a lot of people who are not. There are a lot of people who have it a lot worse. I don't know what's going on. And his medical issues of suffering a stroke recently and all that could have severely altered whatever kind of depression he had before. His brain chemistry is out of whack. And that's not to say, and please don't be reductive and don't oversimplify this whole thing. That doesn't mean that, he's crazy and he's going to blow up. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. When you suffer from depression, you're not sociopathic. You're not schizophrenic. It's not that kind of thing. When you suffer from depression, these are things about your quiet moments. These are things that you deal with when you're alone. These are things that you deal with happening in your own head when you lay in bed at night. So, stop with the whole, he's a crazy person. He's not. He has mental health issues just like everybody else. Every single one of you has some form of mental disability. We are not perfectly functioning creatures. We have these brains and they're very complicated, and our minds are something that we don't even understand the first thing about yet. Maybe in 1,000 years we'll have a greater understanding of the human mind, but we don't. So, all these people, I would never go to a shrink. And it's like, well, let's examine why you feel that way. See, those kinds of, is a head shrink. Why are you so defensive about that? Let's talk about that. Did your father hug you? See, everybody, we can find something in everybody. So when somebody recognizes that they have something and that it's maybe impeding them being able to do what they want to do, I don't know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to get help. And I don't think everybody needs to talk about it. I don't think your neighbor needs to come down the driveway going, checking myself in. But he's a high profile guy. And, if other people who are going through some shit can see that he's willing to step forward and say, I have to do, maybe it's a good thing. But, we live in a highly partisan political time. So, make fun of him if you must. I don't know. Go ahead, man. That's kind of heartless, I think, but whatever. I mean, you don't see me making fun of Matt Gaetz for being a pedophile. I think he's got a serious mental problem there. All right, that's a joke because apparently the Justice Department doesn't agree. Don Lemon is trending. Sugar Don Lemon. Oh, do I hate Don Lemon? I don't hate anybody. I don't mean to say I hate Don Lemon. He just irritates me. He's so smug. He's so elitist. He's just, he's not a dude. He's not a dude. He's like he's a D-bag. He's definitely a D-bag. He's a D-bag. But I don't hate him. So Don Lemon got kicked off his new morning show. Not permanently. I think they told him to take a day, take a breather. So CNN has this new morning show, and it stars Don Lemon, Sugar Don Lemon, and Poppy, the delightful Poppy Harlow. I love me some Poppy Harlow. And the highly questionable Caitlin Collins. Anyway, those are the three of them that are on the new CNN morning show. Apparently, it's doing pretty good. You know why? Because they're mixing it up. They're making it doing pretty good by CNN morning show standards. Okay, don't come at me with Fox and Friends has 3 times the audience. Yeah, they do because CNN sucks. But this show has been an uptick for CNN in morning, so that's how you start. Anyway, apparently Don Lemon's quite the prima donna. Don Lemon's been causing problems. He's been pushing around Caitlin Collins and. If people don't like that, and, he's the big star. He's swinging the big dick up there right now, and Poppy Harlow doesn't like it. Poppy Harlow is a delight. Poppy Harlow is a delight from her name. You just start with that name. Poppy Harlow. That sounds like a Mary Poppins character or, something like that. She's delightful. And she has to sit there next to this smug, this condescending Don Lemon, this D-bag, Hamptons dwelling Don Lemon. Anyway, Don Lemon got into it with Caitlin Collins a while ago, and that was a big problem because people like Caitlin Collins. And other people like Don Lemon too, but the people who like Caitlin Collins, like, hey, you can't talk to him that way. So then yesterday, Don Lemon goes on the air, and they're doing this, part of the new plan for CNN. Is that instead of going the route that I would have gone, with CNN if they were going to revamp CNN, is I'd be like, just do news. How about just do news? Make it quick, make it fast, just do news. But no, they didn't do that. They decided they're like, we're going to be like a chat show. We're going to dumb down news even more. So they do a lot of like crosstalk stuff, like, where they're sitting at the desk and they're very comfortable and, it's morning. So they're drinking their cup of coffee and they're having the morning show conversation. And Don Lemon said, in regards to Nikki Haley, that because Nikki Haley apparently criticized politicians who are running for office who are over like 75. Nikki Haley's like, yeah, they're too old. Or cognitive tests. They want cognitive, whatever it is. Okay, that's fine. You know what? I would prefer presidents be in their 50s. That's just me, but whatever. I'll take it on a case-by-case basis. So Nikki Haley said that, and Don Lemon during crosstalk said something like, well, Nikki Haley should watch herself because she's not in her prime. Nikki Haley's like 50-something, something like that. I think she's my age. So Nikki Haley she's not in her prime. And then Poppy Harlow, who's 40, was like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, women are in their prime in their 20s and in their 30s. And then he said every dumb guy's answer to when people question some stat they thought, Google it. He actually said that. Don Lemon, the guy who gives us the news, who we're supposed to be watching so we don't have to Google shit, is telling us to Google it. Women are in their prime in their 20s. Well, maybe their sexual prime, maybe their childbearing prime. But, I think to say that a woman isn't. Anyway, he got in trouble for it. He got in trouble because Poppy Harlow got all pissed at him. And Caitlin Collins got all pissed at him. And apparently they went to a commercial break. We'll be right back. And they went to the commercial break, and I guess Poppy Harlow stormed off and went to the bathroom. And then Caitlin Collins stormed off and followed her into the bathroom, where I just know they were talking shit on Don Lemon. They were. At least that's the scuttlebutt. And people got upset. And now Don Lemon had to sit out a day. So there you go. Don Lemon. He's like, they're trying to build him into their big star, the face of CNN. And I'm like, he's disreputable. He is not the guy you want as your face. You guys forget about Anderson Cooper? Anderson Cooper is totally middle of the road. It's totally vanilla. He's just sitting there. He's been doing that show at 7:00 for like 20 years now. And you people are trying to promote Don Lemon into the face of the guy. Come on. I mean, not that Anderson Cooper would be bad. I'm just saying there are better choices if you're looking around. You should be promoting people like whatever happened to Breonna Keeler. They move her out. I like Breonna Keeler. She was good. She's great. Breonna Keeler's good. I like Poppy Harlow. I like Breonna Keeler. I don't know. I like that John guy. John, he's like the bench guy. He's like the backup quarterback. Like whenever like a host is out, John somebody. I don't know. I like him. He's like a little nerdy smart guy though. Yeah. All right. That's why Don Lemon is trending. Fox News is trending. See, we burned down CNN. Now let's burn down Fox News. Fox News is trending today because due to the lawsuit with the vote counting machines. Anyway, so Dominion. So Fox News went all Dominion stole the election or whatever. I know you're getting like a drunk history version of it, but bear with me. Dominion stole the election. And so Dominion's like, no, we didn't. And so then they're like, let's all go to court. And so they're in court and Dominion is suing Fox News for like, I don't know, $1 trillion. Let's just say that for the sake of this conversation. So like $1 trillion. And during the discovery, the lawyers for Dominion were able to retrieve all of the personal and private text messages between your favorite Fox News hosts, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson. And they made them public. They made them public in court. And I don't know what they're trying. They're trying to prove that what Fox News was saying on the air about Dominion voting systems being fraudulent and all that stuff, they are proving, and I'm saying trying, but they seem to be proving it. They're trying to prove that Fox News did not actually believe that and that they were intentionally putting out misinformation because that was what their audience, they felt, wanted to hear. And so now they release all of these text messages between Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity, and and they're all calling Trump names. Like Tucker Carlson said he was a demonic force who's only good at destroying things. We've built this monster, and now this monster is going to destroy 25 years of hard work. Talking about Fox News, anyway. So off the air, Fox News stars blasted the election fraud claims that they openly peddled on air. This, according to new text messages obtained in court. In the days and weeks after the 2020 election, the Fox News channel repeatedly broadcast false claims. It says it here. False claims that then President Donald Trump had been cheated of victory. Off the air, the network stars, producers, and executives expressed contempt for those same conspiracies, calling them mind-blowingly nuts, totally off the rails, and complete BS, often in far earthier terms. Yeah, Tucker Carlson drops F-bombs. The network's top primetime stars, Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, and Sean Hannity, texted contemptuously of the claims in group chats, but also denounced colleagues for pointing that out publicly on the station. So they were privately saying this is all bullshit, but then also saying, why aren't our colleagues all airing the bullshit, right? That's what this is about. Ingraham called Trump campaign attorney Sidney Powell nuts. Carlson, who famously demanded evidence from Powell on the air, privately used a vulgar epithet for women to describe her. C-word? Called her a C-word. Tucker Carlson called her a C-word. A top network programming executive wrote privately that he did not believe the shows of Carlson, Hannity, and Jeanine Pirro were credible sources of news. That's like the guy, that's an executive at Fox News, just saying that, yeah, these are not credible sources for news, these shows. But whatever, they make a lot of money in advertising because they give the people what they want. People want what they want. People want what they want to hear, and Fox News is a genius operation for exploiting that human weakness. Even so, top executives strategized about how to make it up to their viewers. Among Trump's strongest supporters, after Fox News election night team correctly called the pivotal state of Arizona for Joe Biden before other networks, a sense of desperation pervaded. Top executives strategized about how to make it up to their viewers. Among Trump's strongest supporters. This after Fox News election night team correctly called the pivotal state of Arizona for Democrat nominee Joe Biden before other networks. A sense of desperation pervades the private notes from Fox's top stars, reflecting an obsession with collapsing ratings. Here's a quote now. "It's remarkable how weak ratings make good journalists do bad things," said Bill Salmon, at the time the network's top Washington managing editor. Network executives above him stewed over the hit to Fox News' brand among its viewers. See, basically what happened was they called Arizona for Biden, and the Fox viewers got mad. And now they're trying to figure out how to make the Fox viewers not mad because they gave them news that they didn't want to hear. The audience started to erode severely that fall, starting on election night itself. Fox executives and stars equally obsessed over the threat posed by the smaller right-wing network Newsmax. Hannity texted Tucker Carlson and Ingram that Fox's Arizona call destroyed a brand that took 25 years to build, and the damage is incalculable. Tucker Carlson shot back that it was absolute vandalism of our brand. Other hosts, including Dana Perino, were equally shocked. Fox News host Neil Cavuto was attacked by colleagues for pulling his show away from a presentation by that. Okay, never mind. It just goes on to stupid shit. Anyway, where's the Tucker Carlson demonic force one? That's funny. Anyway, look, man, doesn't matter what kind of news you want. If you're hearing stuff that you enjoy, here's a good rule of thumb. If you're watching the news and you're enjoying it, you aren't getting news, okay? Because news is bad. News isn't supposed to make you go, yeah, this is what I want to hear. So if you're watching news every night and you're enjoying it and you're watching it and looking forward to it the way you might look forward to The Tonight Show or the latest episode of Better Call Saul or whatever, if that's how you're going into your news experience, you ain't getting news. Because news is supposed to piss you off. News is not good. There's not good shit going on. There's some good shit, but, we don't want to waste our time with that. All right, so there you go. Take down a CNN and how stupid they are, and then a takedown of Fox News and how corrupt they are. Balloon. We got some information on the balloon. Turns out that one of the balloons, the one that got shot down over Canada. So let's track it. We've got the Chinese spy balloon shot down over Charleston, South Carolina. That was first. Then we shot down another thing off the coast of Alaska. Then the next day, we shot something down over Canada. And then the next day, we shot something down over Lake Huron. So it's one we shot down over Canada that they're talking about here. It turns out that was it's probably just a balloon from some weird, nerdy balloon hobbyist group from Northern Illinois. That's what they're thinking now. Last Saturday, high above Canada's Yukon territory, the pilot of a $150 million U.S. Air Force F-22 Raptor, acting on orders from the leaders of both Canada and the United States, fired a $472,000 9X Sidewinder missile at a small, unidentified cylindrical object, flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet, resulting in a confirmed air-to-air kill. What NORAD still hasn't been able to confirm almost a week later is what exactly was it that they just blew out of the sky. Since then, members of the Northern Illinois Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade, a club of high-altitude balloon hobbyists, have been waiting to hear back from their K9YO-15, the group's silver mylar Pico balloon. Pico balloons are small, tracker-equipped circumnavigational balloons that typically cost less than $200 to build. It had been airborne, so they launched this 124 days ago, and they were just tracking it. It was just like a little nerdy balloon hobby club, and they were tracking it as it, just traveled around the world, gathering, nerd information, I guess. The club's silver-coated party-style Pico balloon reported its last position on February 10th at 38,000 feet off the west coast of Alaska. The high-split model, I don't know what that is, provided by the National Oceanic and Atmosphere, NOAA, projected the cylindrical-shaped object would be floating high over the central part of the Yukon Territory on February 11th. Let's see, its payload was just a GPS module. It had an APRS transmitter and a solar panel, altogether weighing 16.4 grams. So anyway, this group, they're saying, yeah, we haven't heard from our balloon since they blew that thing. We tracked our balloon. It should have been right over the Yukon. And then suddenly it stopped reporting and you guys shot down a UFO. So, let's just connect the dots on that one. All right. So that's one. That looks like we might have an answer for one. I don't know. And we know the Chinese spy balloon. Chinese spy balloon, check. One we blew up over the Yukon, check. Nerdy Northern Illinois Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade dudes. We got the one over Alaska that happened the Friday night prior. That we don't know what that is still. And then we got the one over Lake Huron. We don't know what that is. Bruce Willis is trending. He started trending yesterday. Would have made the show yesterday, but we didn't do a show. So let's talk a little bit about Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is, you remember about 9 months ago or so, he made the announcement where he had aphasia, where that was a disease that affects your speech. And so he would be retiring from acting. And we all, we're like, oh man, who doesn't like Bruce Willis, right? Bruce Willis seems totally cool. Seems like a fun guy. Well, now his family is saying it's much worse than that. It's not just aphasia. It is a form of dementia. What is it called? We'll find out exactly what it is. But he's not doing well. I was listening to some doctors. They were talking about how this doesn't mean he's going to die. Like, he could live another 20 years, but he is rapidly declining. So I would imagine that we may have seen the last of Bruce Willis in public based on what his family is now saying about his current condition. So that's sad. That's a pretty quick escalation of something that we've only been wrapping our mind around for about 9 months now, when they came out and said that he had aphasia and was retiring from acting. The family of Bruce Willis has announced that the actor has been diagnosed with a form of dementia called frontotemporal dementia, or FTD for short. In a statement shared Thursday, the 67-year-old star's family stated that while the news is painful, it is a relief to finally have a clear diagnosis. Today, there are no treatments for this disease, a reality that we hope can change in years ahead. But Bruce's condition advances. We hope that any media attention can be focused on shining a light on the disease that needs far more awareness and research, the statement said. Willis's family, including his wife, Emma Hemming Willis, ex-wife, Demi Moore, and his daughters, first disclosed his diagnosis of aphasia back in 2022. They said at the time that Willis was suffering from a medical condition that was affecting his cognitive abilities and would be taking a break from acting. Bruce always believed in using his voice in the world to help others and to raise awareness about important issues both publicly and privately. His family's new statement said, "We know in our hearts that if he could today, he would want to respond by bringing global attention and connectedness with those who are also dealing with this debilitating disease." See, now that's very interesting, because they say we know that if he could today, he would want to respond. So that means that he can't even, well, I think you can put that together. According to the Mayo Clinic, frontotemporal dementia is an umbrella term for a group of brain disorders that primarily affect the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain. These areas of the brain are generally associated with personality, behavior, and language problems. Willis's most recent acting credit, okay, we don't need to go through his most recent acting credits, because when he retired and they announced that he was sick, I think you might recall, we went through his list, like the last 20 movies that he's made, all cash grabs. And it's like, and if you didn't know that he was sick, you'd be like, what is he doing to his career? Why is he just doing all of these paycheck movies? He did like 20 paycheck movies in a row. A paycheck movie is a movie that a big name actor would never do, but they give him so much money to do it because they know that if they can put his name on a shit script, that it'll look like a better movie. So that's a paycheck movie. He did like 20 of them. Like, he was just banking. And now we understand why, because he knew that there was probably something wrong and that he wasn't going to be able to do this much longer. So he just started cranking them out. Best thoughts for Bruce Willis. Who doesn't like Bruce Willis? Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is trending again. Offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Eric Bieniemy has been thought for at least the last 4 years or so to be a leading candidate for a head coaching job in the NFL. And yet he just keeps getting passed over for one reason or another. Maybe he's an a-hole. Maybe he doesn't do meetings well. I don't know. But here's the weird thing. for the people who say they just don't hire black quarterbacks, still raise, that's an argument. It's a very real argument that some people make. And for people who make that argument, holy cow, they really have a glaring example to throw in people's. Shane Steichen, the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, a white guy, has been named head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator of the team that beat that guy in the Super Bowl. They do the exact same job, and the guy who had the losing offensive plan, the guy on the losing team, gets the job with the Indianapolis Colts, and once again, Eric Bieniemy doesn't. Anyway, there's talk today that Eric Bieniemy is going to become the new offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. Here's why would he do that? Why would that be a parallel move? Why would that be something he would be interested in? Well, for a couple of reasons. First of all, maybe he feels he needs to prove without a shadow of a doubt that he is an effective offensive coordinator. And if he can go to Washington, a fairly inept offensive team, if he can go to Washington and he can turn that offense into a winning offense, well, that just bolsters his case that he really does have a special set of skills. Now, Shane Steichen didn't have to do that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other guys that get elevated immediately from an offensive coordinator position to a head coaching job that don't seem to have to jump through those hoops. But that might be one of the things that he's thinking. The other thing he might be thinking is that franchise is in absolute turmoil. And Ron Rivera as the head coach, is he going to be there much longer? Could this be like a coach in waiting? Could the Washington Commanders be looking to add Eric Bieniemy to the coaching staff because, if they have to midseason fire a Ron Rivera or whatever, they can just elevate him because he's ready and they'll look at them, they'll look good elevating the black. You know what I mean? Maybe that's it. I don't know. But sources, the Commanders and Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy have mutual interest, and it's trending in the right direction towards him being their new coordinator. Both sides are working through specifics, but Bieniemy is the top choice of the Commanders. If all goes well, this should be official today. That's Adam Schefter reporting. So we'll see. I don't know. Tiger Woods is trending. Tiger Woods is out there golfing again. He's out there doing his Tiger Woods thing. He's too old to golf. Have you looked at a golf? I mean, okay, I guess there's a difference between the apex level golfer on the PGA and the dude you see at your country club. But I don't know. I root for Tiger. Also, apparently Tiger did a little prank that, I'm surprised he's not being canceled for. So the guy he was golfing with, some other guy, I don't want to watch golf. I know Tiger. I know Phil. That's basically it. So the dude Tiger's golfing with, I guess, hit a bad drive. And so Tiger handed him a tampon. And it was on camera. Well, here we got it. I can show it to you. Here. So here's the Tiger Woods tampon thing. And nobody said anything. I'm surprised people aren't complaining. What's that supposed to mean? That only people who have tampons can't hit golf? I don't know. I don't know what it means. I think it's just two dudes being funny. But go ahead. If you want to be one of them troublemaking biatches, that's a you thing. Here we go. All right, let's see if we can find this. All right, can we see this? Yeah, we can see it. All right, so this is apparently, he hands him a tampon.
It did. This one's headed a little left. Got a nice bounce.
I see that rough is not very long at all, so no issues.
Pretty good lie, right?
All right, so see, now here they are on their way together.
Right there.
See, all right, now see, he's handing him something. He's putting something in his hand covertly. We missed it.
There.
Apparently, it's a tampon. Here. There it is. Okay, do we see the tampon right there? He handed him a tampon, and he wouldn't take it, and it fell to the ground. There's the tampon right there. I don't know if you can see it. Can we see it done? Yeah, you can see it. So here's the tampon falling down. Now let's watch it in real time. Let's cancel Tiger.
I think it stayed on the.
For having camaraderie with his fellow golfers.
A little left. Got a nice bounce.
That rough is not very long at all, so no issues.
Pretty good right there.
Now watch him. Okay, see, now what's the reaction? See, look, he's laughing at him. He knows he just handed him a tampon. And now he's going, I'm just kidding, buddy. You're not a woman. What? What's wrong with being a woman? Cancel Tiger. I don't know. A nice little moment. Tiger's back. I don't care. I'm still not watching golf. I don't. I'm good on a cart. I'm good making conversations with people who are standing around. I don't want to golf. That's not. Yeah. See here. Here's some big news. Size. Penis size is trending. That's right. Did you know that? Did you know the average penis size has grown over the last 30 years? That's right. That's probably a good thing, but scientists are saying, no, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. They're saying it's a bad thing because, well, I don't know. Let's read it. They're growing, and it's showing. The average penis length, the average penis length has increased over the past 30 years, a new study has revealed. But experts warn it might not be the ideal reality of every man's dreams. As it turns out, size does matter. Researchers fear the phallic inflation is due to unhealthy habits like bringing junk food, like binging junk food, or being mostly sedentary, or even pollution. Any overall change in development is concerning because our reproductive system is one of the most important pieces of human biology. I'll say so. Yeah, probably the most important, the species and all. Any overall change in development is concerning because our reproductive system is one of the most important pieces of human biology. Dr. Michael Eisenberg, he's good, said, if we're seeing this fast of a change, it means that something powerful is happening to our bodies. Published in the World Journal of Men's Health, the Stanford University study analyzed data from 75 studies with over 55,000 men from 1992 to 2021, focusing on the length of an erect penis. How do you pitch that study? Okay, does anybody have anything else that they want to pitch for funding? We've got, Mark in the back. I want to study penises. Mark, stop with the penises, Mark. Jesus, is there anybody else? Oh, I think it's important that we study. Mark, you just want to look at 55,000 penises. Isn't that the case? Really? Fine, give him his money. Shut him up. That's what it was, 55,000 penises. Mark had to measure 55,000 penises. Erect penile length is getting longer. It was an average of 4.8 inches. It is now an average 6 inches, and that is just over the last 29 years. So there you go. I don't need to read anything more. That Mark in his extensive penis research. This is my boyfriend, Mark. Oh, hi, Mark. What do you do? I study penises. Yeah, it's like, is that really? But more specifically, penis size. It's a labor of love. Alex Jones is trending. Speaking of big dicks, there you go. There you go. Alex Jones is trending because he's bankrupt. We all know this. He's bankrupt. He's ruined. They took all his money. He's done. He's still spending $100,000 a month. How are you going to walk around claiming to be bankrupt and you're spending $100,000 a month on lifestyle? That's how he lives. Yes, I might be bankrupt, but you must keep me in the lifestyle. So how does this work? Dude's paying like $100,000 a month for bullshit. He's got like 5 houses. He's paying like alimony and he's paying like child support to the tune of like $20,000 a month. You're not broke. You should be living in a funky apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment in a sketchy part of town, driving a piece of shit car. You shouldn't be still afforded a $100,000 a month. Well, that's what it costs. You can't upend his ability to earn a living. You can earn a living. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones has filed for bankruptcy, but has nearly $10 million in claimed assets and spends almost $100,000 a month, according to court filings. He owes almost $1.5 billion in court-awarded damages, mostly to relatives and victims in the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting. They ain't never going to see it. I'm sorry. There ain't no way. Those poor people, they ain't never going to see it. In previous court filings, he declared assets in the range of $1 million to $10 million. Now, you have to understand that he's lowballing this. These are just what he's officially claiming. He's totally lowballing it. The InfoWars founder declared bankruptcy last year, and the latest documents include voluminous detail about his possessions, debts, outgoing, and legal issues. Mr. Jones, who repeatedly made various false claims about the Sandy Hook murders, owns 3 properties in Austin, along with a $1.5 million plot of land. He's got 3 vehicles, 2 boats, 2 guns, and a cat. Give us the cat, Alex. Give me your cat. It's like, take his cat. Take his cat. And then I don't care what you do with it because I'm not a cat person. I mean, I'm not advocating for any harm to come to the cat, but like I said, I don't care if somebody wants to take care of that cat. That's fine. Otherwise, I've seen cats in the alley. They seem to be doing fine. Cats are pretty resourceful. The court filings show that Mr. Jones, that would not be the same if it was a dog. I wouldn't even want to take his dog. Can't take a man's dog. Although maybe with Alex Jones I could. Maybe I could take Alex Jones's dog. Court filings show that Mr. Jones also paid a total of $1.3 million to settle debts with his wife and parents. He gave one charitable contribution of $2,000 to an Austin church. One portion of the document notes that Mr. Jones is holding firearms for certain January 6th participants. A reference to the riot. Okay, I don't care. I don't need to get into that nonsense. Anyway, Alex Jones, man. He's probably driving a really nice car. He's got a really nice house. Netflix isn't, in danger of going out. He's got everything he needs. He's got food. He wants to go to, tonight, if he's just sitting. This is not bankrupt, okay? This is not a guy who's $1.5 billion in debt. Alex Jones is sitting around tonight, and he wants to go out for a fancy $300 steak meal. He can do it, okay? That's not bankrupt. That's a rich guy. That's a rich guy with some issues on paper, only on paper, because if you're still allowed, I don't get it. Also, what else? Oh, she's been trending for 2 days now, but I guess it does demand a mention. Raquel Welch. Raquel Welch died the other day. Raquel Welch, fabulous babe. Famously, we were talking about Marilyn Monroe a couple of months back about how I think Marilyn Monroe is so overrated. And I'm like, she wasn't even, I mean, I know Raquel Welch came after Marilyn Monroe, but Marilyn Monroe was like no Raquel Welch. Marilyn Monroe was no Anne Margaret. She was just, I don't get why she was considered the apex of beauty when there are just other. Raquel Welch was, man, a little before my time. If I'm being honest, my appreciation for Raquel Welch probably began when she played herself on Seinfeld for a couple of episodes. Gosh, she was so funny on Seinfeld. Do you remember her character on Seinfeld? Raquel Welch was playing a characterized version of Raquel Welch. Raquel Welch was performing Woman of the Year on Broadway. This is the story as it unfolded in Seinfeld. And Kramer somehow became Raquel Welch's assistant, and she was brutal. She was so mean and so awful. It was very funny. So I thought she was very funny in that, and then I went, she used to be like a hot babe. So it was really only mid-90s when I truly began to appreciate Raquel Welch. And there's a lot to appreciate there, man. That is timeless. It's an all-timer. That's a first ballot Hall of Famer right there. You got your first ballot Hall of Famers. So, of course, you're going to put in Marilyn Monroe. I wouldn't have voted for her first ballot, but that's okay. I understand that enough people would. So you got your Marilyn Monroe. I think you got your Anne Margaret. You definitely got your Raquel Welch. You got your Farrah Fawcett. You get and then you get into the more modern ones. But those are like the big ones. Like those are like Marilyn Monroe, Anne Margaret, Raquel Welch, Farrah Fawcett. Bo Derek? Oh, you can put Bo Derek in there. Because Bo Derek came directly after Farrah. And it was like, Farrah, and then Bo Derek. Anyway, long story short, Raquel Welch is an all-timer. And she died the other day. Like 82 years old. She's another one because I was looking at pictures of her. She's another one that just, man, genetics, dude. Those genetics just held up well into her 60s. Well, I mean, you look at pictures of Raquel Welch in her 60s and you're like, how does a 60-year-old woman still have that body? How is that? Well, and then you look at Helen Mirren in like a ball dress and you're like, whoa. All right, how does that 80-something-year-old lady still have that body? Wow. Anyway. Do I have any other thoughts? Any other thoughts on Raquel Welch? No, I don't. That's it. All right, folks, we're going to wrap up the show. That's it. I got a lot of stuff to do today. Very busy man. We will be back doing a show on Monday. President's Day be damned, or George Washington's birthday, or Indigenous Peoples Day. I don't know what it is. It's a thing. I know I got my son for the weekend, and we get an extra day because he doesn't have school on Monday, so that's good. That's very exciting. Come on, there we go. Let's get the theme song going. I think we're going to Portillo's tonight for dinner. I think we're finally going to go. I don't know if the lines are still crazy long. I hope not. But he got into the National Honor Society. So I said, well, we'll have a celebratory dinner. And he goes, can we go to Portillo's? And I go, yeah, of course we can. So that's what we're doing. I think tonight, maybe tonight. I will have a full review on the North Texas Portillo's. Let you know what I think. So I'm an expert. I've been eating that garbage for 50 years. And when I say garbage, I mean lovingly. Delicious garbage. All right, we're getting chocolate cake shakes tonight. I can promise you that. And we're getting two. We're not just going to cheap out and just get one chocolate cake shake. The boy made the National Honor Society. He deserves his own chocolate cake shake. I think we can pull that one off. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get me a Maxwell Polish. I'm going to get me a beef and cheddar croissant with juice on the side, sweet and hot peppers, and a chocolate cake shake. That's my order. All right, guys, we'll see you on Monday. Or if something big happens, I'll jump in. Because remember, follow the show, share the show, tip the show if you can. We didn't put our tipping thing up at all today. That's all right. I don't be desperate at it at this point. Too late, It's like, you guys, you people know how to support the show if you're so inclined. And I certainly do appreciate that. God, it's gorgeous outside. But is it cold? According to my thing, it's a little bit cold. It's still in the 50s. But holy cow, is it sunny and beautiful. You get sunburned today. All right, I'm out of here. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Things are going good. I always had to be on guard. That is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.